Alright guys, what's going on? Today we're back, finally, on my Amara build. So in the last video, I told you guys about how good this build was. Well, after watching some other videos and doing some deeper diving into this, I actually found a way to make it a lot better. In my opinion anyways, I find it a lot better. So in the last build, consistency was the big issue. Consistency with having your anointments going up with face cast, and not only that, but consistency with getting the orb. I saw that in the comments. Getting the orb was really difficult. So the star of the show this time is phase grasp, not phase cast. Now, if you watch some other YouTubers, you will know that's not very well, not what a lot of people think. They think phase cast is better. They think that phase grasp is too OP and doesn't work for this class mod, but I'm here to show you guys that it is viable, and I'll explain that later in the video why. But to start off, we have a different skill tree this time. As you guys can see, I'm not going to dive into every skill and whatever. You guys can pause your screens or whatever and watch. I don't want points in the conflicts this time. Harmageddon, yeah, it's good, but it doesn't really add that much to the game. Let's not go all the way down Orange Tree just because it's not really worth it in the end. You can get more damage elsewhere. But pretty basic phase grasp build here. Going into Green Tree, personal space for bonus damage, and movement speed. These 3 points here, if you don't want the extra movement speed, put it in splash damage, more health, regen, more speed, or speed in a different way, it really doesn't matter. These 3 points here, but I prefer being able to run fast, so that's why I have it on. Purple Tree, these 3 points are also extra. I have them here just because reload speed is nice to try and keep up your consecutive hits and anointments, so that's why I have it in here. And for the Blue Tree, pretty basic, I would say. No points into Remnant this time, just because it doesn't add very much. It adds, yeah, a couple thousand damage, but with I believe times 31, I think I heard someone say overkill damage because of Mayhem 10. You don't need it. The extra 1,000 won't make a difference. I also switched over to Violent Tapestry instead of Do Harm, since Do Harm doesn't affect Phase Grasp anymore, and status effect is really what we're looking for with Amara. I put the points into there instead. And now we're back at the beginning. So jumping right into the build. We have quite a few different weapons. So this time I have the Free Radical, which I'm sure at this point everyone knows is probably one of, if not the best pistol in the game. A Flipper, a Plasma Coil, and I have a couple options for our 4th slot here. It's going to be a Sniper, but here I have the Skull Masher on, which actually isn't my top choice. I prefer the Ionic Disruptor, but I know a lot of people won't put down their Skull Masher, so I threw it in here. Basic, the same OP shield Revolter on Amara is just more shock damage, more damage in general. It's great. The Death's Blessing, obviously, it's the class mod that this build is centered around. Grenades with random ASEs, and for our artifact, I have a couple options. I have the Malawan Company Man because with all these bonuses, and since we're running 3 Malawan weapons here, and a Malawan Sniper if you want the complex route, this is more powerful than the Pearl. But I have a Pearl included just in case. I also have a Vladov Company Man if you want to run Light Shows and Monarchs instead. Or if you have a Lyuda you want to run, you can run that too. I also have a Super Shred of Fire in here just because it's fun as hell when you have the 2 barrels and just throwing hundreds of ammo downrange. It's great. And then we have the Snowdrift Victory Rush for movement speed. So I'd say it's a pretty basic loadout for most builds. But so the reason I'm saying that Phase Grasp is not bad for this class mod in general is because with 390 on your Ionic Disruptor, it will either do one of 2 things. It'll either kill the person you have phase grasped and everyone around it, or sometimes it'll not kill the guy that is actually phase grasped, but it'll kill everyone that's attached. And since he's already on low health, when the Remnant Orb comes and hits him, it'll blow him up, and then you get your buff. Works without fail almost every single time. Like let's say 85% of the time, it works 100% of the time. It's one of those deals. And I've always found out, unless I'm bossing, there's always enough mobs around to be able to get this buff. Even in like the seer fight, you kill one of the guardians around, and the remnant orb will either go to seer and take out his shield, or it'll go to an enemy and then you'll get your buff. So it works out in either way, in my eyes. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I'll leave the save down in the description, and in the background gameplay, you guys can take a look for yourselves on whether you think this build is as good as I'm making it out to be, because I really think it is. All of our anointments are consecutive hits, just because with this build, it really works. I have a smog here, which is fun. I don't like the amplified when weapon shield is active, but when you have phase grasp and nothing's shooting at you because it's phase grasped, it works. By the way, with Ties That Bind, I'm using the Stillness of the Mind, which I think is the best. Unless you're bossing, then maybe you'll want to put the healing one on. I have my only ×20 anarchy in here, so that's in there for you guys too, because it also works really well in every situation, like every build does with the anarchy. Okay, the Hellwalker I don't have consecutive hits on. I have 300 over 90 on it, simply because it's the Hellwalker. Consecutive hits doesn't really mix well with it. So you use this, if you want to use this instead of the sniper, you can go right ahead and do that. It'll also one-shot the enemies, no problem. I only have one back burner, unfortunately. I farmed for hours to get you guys a lot of this gear, so if you'd like to leave a like down below and maybe a comment, it would be really appreciated. I had to stall this video for 2 days trying to grind all the gear for this build, so any amount of support helps. And if you want to subscribe and see all the other builds I'm going to be putting out soon, why don't you do that too? That'd be very greatly appreciated. Moving on, we have Plague Bearers of the 3 main elements. I have an Unseen Threat, because some people like it. I don't think it's that good, but it's in here if you want it. Skull Masher and Ionic Disruptor. Like I said, these are all for just getting that Remnant Orb to do as much damage as possible to take out the enemy so you can get your buff from Death's Blessing. Complex Root is not here to do what the other snipers are doing. It's out here for damage. Like most people, I mean, I don't know why you would want to use it on a single mob, but it's more for like bossing or bigger enemies. Sandhawk, just for damage. If you don't want to run the Revolter, I did leave all the old gods that I have until it has a dedicated loot source. I'm not gonna try and farm anymore since they nerfed drop rates horrendously. And that's the basic gist of the build. Like I said, I'm gonna leave a save in the comments down below, so if you guys want to check it out, you can go ahead. And that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna leave some gameplay at the end if you want to see this build in action. So if you enjoyed, please hit that like button and comment down below what character or what kind of build you want to see next, and subscribe if you want to keep up on all of my builds or other videos that I post. I appreciate all of you. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.